What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Behind the Cork. I'm your host, Eric Rocha. How you doing? It's good to have you. I hope your week's been fucking awesome, and you're making all the right moves. So my guest today is Rob Pugliese. He is an amazing comic. You can find him on Instagram at ROBPUGCOMIC. Look, it's Rob Pug Comic. Give him a follow. He's hilarious. We'll get more into that in a second. Really quick, I want to plug a show. This Saturday at 10 p.m., I'm going to be on a show called The Venmo Show. All right? That is going to be at the Comedy Cafe. That is actually in Hollywood. So, look, I don't give a shit if you Venmo or not. I'm not looking for that. You don't got to worry about that. But there's some other funny comics on there. Go check them out. That is at 5220 Hollywood Boulevard. All right? In L.A. Check it out. Again, Fourth Wall Comedy Cafe, 5220 Hollywood Boulevard. It's called The Venmo Show. I'm going to be funny. Watch, I'll fucking show you. So I had a pretty spectacular week. I did. A lot of cool stuff happened. First off, I want to say the week before that, I got to do the Belly Room. I got to open for Joey's one-man show when he's working on some stuff at the Comedy Store. So a huge thank you to Joey again for that, and to that audience. Man, they were fucking terrific. Oh my God, they were so good. You guys are... that's the best set I've ever had in the Belly Room, so... Thank you. And how fucking good was Joey's one-man show? It's cool because he's working on it right now, and it's different from stand-up because he's telling more stories, but it's interesting to see him work through this because, I mean, he's working on some intense stuff. It's really good. I've seen one-man shows like just in New York. I've seen a bunch of them, but I mean, this is so intense. It's honest. It's really poignant. It's really good. And each week he keeps bringing different elements to it that, like, oh fuck, I could see that working, or I could see him going in that direction. Honestly, I could see it going to Broadway. It's that poignant though. So if you get a chance, go check it out. Anytime. It's fucking, one, it's Comedy Store, but two, you're getting to see Joey work in a way that is very different. So I love it. Go check it out. Last thing on my list is hey, I'm a year older from when we last talked. Can you tell? It's the hair, right? Yeah. Anyways, my buddies Lee and Luke, they threw me a birthday party at Barney's Beanery. And one, thank you guys. You're awesome. Lee gave me a cake with trick candles on it, and I just kept blowing all over the cake. And of course, there was all kinds of gay jokes. And I've never heard Lee laugh that hard. He was absolutely in love with the fact that I could not get these candles to fucking stop. And he did that little Lee giggle. Oh, it's just so funny. I don't know. I loved it, but and I'm warning you, it's gonna get a little emotional here. It's I'm looking around. I see like my friends Alan Doyle, Josh Potter, Rob Banks, people from the podcast. Cooney, Vertrees, the Verzi triplets, Yashar, and I'm just looking at all these people, and they're all fucking hilarious. And I'm just looking at these people, and I had a little knot in my heart where I was like, man, I'm a lucky guy to have all these people. My friend Jordan came with Luca, and I was just, I had this thing where I was like, fuck, I don't deserve to have these many funny people, but I really am honored to have them. Like, they're just people that on any given day, if you're feeling shitty, any of those people could make you laugh. And there I was just surrounded by them. Pretty sure the waiter hated us, though. Yeah. Waiter did not feel the same way. But anyways, thank you so much for coming to my birthday. I'm lucky. So, actually, and then afterwards I got on Grindr, and we all know what happens when you go on there.
Actually, what I had in mind was spending the evening with a stranger who loves me.
It's gonna cost you $100.
Oh yeah? What time do you get off work?
So, my guest is Rob Pugliese. Again, at Rob Pug Comic. Go give him a follow. I was really excited for this one. Rob is someone who is extremely honest, and he's kind though. I guess that's the difference. Is those don't always go hand in hand. Rob is somebody that he doesn't get off on being like blunt or being cruel, but he's honest. That's always in there. Other comics will tell you like, oh, I tell you the truth and blah blah. Don't come to me if you don't want the truth. And it's so fucking annoying. There's nothing worse than a comic celebrating how fucking truthful he is. It is pathetic. It's just, it's so self-important. It's stupid. But Rob doesn't do that. Rob is honest and brutally honest, even when he doesn't want to be. And I think that's what's so endearing about him is that, he's not blunt, he's honest, because there's something in him that is so kind too. But I wanted him on for like a while because he's that good, especially as a comic. Like he's not only influenced my comedy, but I've always looked up to him too because he's sober. And, I've stopped drinking and I stopped doing drugs and, just the way he handles himself, his demeanor, I've always really appreciated. So I was excited about that. Anyways, that's that. I hope you're having a good week. This is a really good episode. You're going to enjoy it. So without further ado, here's my buddy Rob Pugliese.
I don't know no better, so let's blame the weather, 'cause I got no care when I hit my groove, 'cause I got no care when I hit my groove. Well, my music's rolling.
I first off want to apologize to you that you weren't invited to the birthday bash, dude.
Yeah, I was legitimately resentful.
I was like,
100%.
oh, fuck. When I got your text, I was like, damn, like, I really would have loved to have you there. Like, it was funny because it was like a couple people where I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I didn't see them there.
Yeah, that's all right.
And it was
I just
shitty.
saw the story, and it was one of those adult moments where you're like, well, whatever, man. It's just the way it goes. But secretly, I was like, huh.
It's funny because of all the comics, too, you're one that I actually really do respect. And I was like,
thank you.
Oh, God damn it. Like, there's like another one I fucking lost.
No, not at all. I wasn't really upset. I was just, happy birthday. How old did you turn?
34.
Nice. Yeah, 34. I just hit that mark.
Oh, really?
Yep, August.
August.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You're doing much better than I am. When did I first meet you?
I'm guessing a couple of years ago, right? Do you mind if I hold this?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's gonna bother me. I'm guessing fourth wall.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw you was in I think it was fourth wall. We did a show that Joe ran at a bar on Ventura. And you did great. And I remember not knowing you. I think you were hosting, or maybe no, Joe was hosting. You went up early, and you did great. And I ate a dick so bad. Oh, I fucking bombed. It was one of those bombs where I left and I was like, I'm just going to drive straight back to Connecticut. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to leave Ventura Boulevard in California and just head east and drive for 7 days straight.
Just keep driving.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I'm not coming back here ever again. That's it. Career's over. It was a bad one. And I remember you looked very cash on stage and you were just kind of riffing. And I went up and like, I did very prepared jokes. And, you know, that was kind of early on in me being in LA. And it was just a dumb choice because you can't do that in a shitty bar and with shitty LA fucking I'm too cool people. You have to do the like, whoa, I don't even like pretend you're not performing thing.
Oh, God.
And I went up and I was like, hey, guys, how are we? Guys, everybody, blah, blah.
I refuse to believe that you were that fucking.
I ate a dickhole.
Really?
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I was fucking mad. I was like, so angry because it was just people. Dude, LA doing poorly in LA. I much prefer if you're having a bad set if somebody yells at you like, "Fuck you, you're not funny." Please do that. Please. That's so much better than them just staring at you silence. And then you talk to them like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're just like, they won't respond. Dude, there's nothing you can do with a vacuum, you know?
So I don't know if you've listened to any of the episodes, but it's hard for me to hear that you bomb. And I don't mean to make this an ass kissing session, but
well, please, I need it. So
you did two things. One, believe it or not, you were one of the people that I was like, I admired because of sobriety.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, man.
And I was like, well, fuck me. Like, this guy is hilarious. This guy's hilarious and he's sober. Like, it's funny because there's a few comics that I did look up to when I started getting sober. You were one of them. You, Luke Allen was another friend that I was like, oh, okay, good. Like, this is my friend. And then, obviously, the big one was Attell.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you know, if that guy can get sober.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, because I know he would probably hate it to, you know, actually corner him and be like, hey, thanks, you helped me get sober.
Yeah.
You know, just because he's so awkward in
Like,
everyday life.
He would take praise well.
Exactly. But you were definitely one of those comics that were like that because I remember being intimidated as fuck by you. And I don't say that. You're probably the first comic I've said that to that I've had on the show.
Really?
That I was really intimidated by. Because it was, one, you had these terrific jokes. I mean, you're a hell of a fucking writer. It's infuriating.
Well, you're just
to watch,
lying
to
now.
watch you. But no, and I remember I was walking by Tipsy Cow, and I'd seen you.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you were fucking fantastic to me. You were like, "Hey, Eric, how are you?" And I was like, to rob us.
That's how shitty LA is that's fantastic. Just somebody being like, hey man, what's up? Is like, what a gem. But you're right, because everybody's a cunt and everybody's like self-absorbed. Dude, I've met people 6 times. I've met the same person 6 times here. Where it's like, yeah man, we've fucking met before. And I don't like, and you're not important.
But here's what you did though. You did something that was above and beyond that. You were with friends.
Yeah.
And I go, oh shit, I didn't know you came here and you know, yada yada yada. And then you introduced me to your friends even, and you said, oh guys, this is Eric Rocha. He's a very funny comedian.
Yeah, because you are.
And I was like I remember going home and I was like, well, fuck me running. Like, I'm a funny comedian. Like, it was pathetic to a point where it was like, okay, I think I had just started to really get comfortable on stage.
How long have you been doing comedy?
6 years.
Huh.
6 years, and then next year it'll be 7.
That's how that works, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, but the thing of it, though, was, holy fuck, this guy's incredibly funny. And he was very nice to me when you didn't have to be. I mean, you actually called me out as I was walking down the street. Anybody else would have just, or could have just said, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, but because it's like, it's not that I'm a good person, I promise. Like, I mean, I try to be nice, but it's not like that. I'm not like that normally to people. Like most people, I don't fucking care. It was more that it's hard to meet. I have had the fucking worst time out here making connections with people and meeting people and like becoming friends, really like friends with people. And I think that's kind of the nature of LA, but I need that shit. Like that's so important to my happiness. And especially in comedy, man, like, you know, most people don't give a shit what I'm doing and hate it and think that I'm just I don't know, whatever, white dude being mad at things, which is true. But yeah, I remember seeing you and being like, oh, that guy's funny and he's cool and that. Yeah, so I like, it was probably selfish of being like, I want more friends and not to feel like, because it's a tough city. Not like, you know, I don't know. it's just the community is why I got into comedy, and I didn't really feel like there's a community here until like hanging out at Fourth Wall, really, which is that's pathetic. But
no, it's
and the people there. I was like, so and you were one of the dudes that was funny, and you were the opposite of what LA. Everything I hate about LA. So that meant a lot to me too as a person.
Well, thank you, dude. Because the last thing, I swear to God, the last thing I'll bring up is you really helped me make peace with featuring for Joey. If you've ever listened to the show before, I always credit you and Andy Picaro. I've done it on a few different episodes. So
What for? How?
it was something you said to me because I really remembered it, and it was like, okay, I feel better about this. So, as you know, Lee started doing stand-up. He started coming to the Fourth Wall. Joey came in to support.
Yeah, that's
and then
cool.
I had hosted a few times, and we started connecting more and more, and then I got this great opportunity. He was like, hey, I think we would work good together. And he said, I'm going to book you on some shows and let's just see how you do. And I was
Joey
like, okay,
Diaz. Yeah.
So, I started doing that, and now I'm more in, and like we're friends now. It stopped being just like, oh, no, like if I ever needed something, I would call him as a friend.
Yeah.
Just because he's been amazing to me. When that first went down in my head, I thought of you and I thought of Andy Picaro. And I was like, if there is anybody that deserves this more than I do, it was you two guys.
Well, that's not true.
Here's the thing, though. In terms of comics that I would see legitimately crush and comics that I would just come up and fucking laugh. You have, and I'm not going to burn any of your material, but I remember jokes that you do like I don't remember any other open comics about a paperback book being wet.
Oh, yeah.
I remember your trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
I remember so
That's
many
still my closer and has
many
been
of
for
your
2 years.
jokes. So many of your jokes I remember and I respected as a comic coming up, and I was just like, these are so well fucking crafted. You were a guy that after I saw on stage, I was like, all right, you got to go home and fucking rework your shit out, dude. You got to read it. But it was a nice thing because whenever I would see your name on that list, I was like, okay, you gotta bring more heat because I don't want to fuck up in front of these names. And not to just single you out, you were one of that.
No, I was the
three
only
in
one.
that mix.
I get it. I was the only one.
Because it was great. Because like you and Justin Foster was another guy that I just absolutely adored.
Yeah,
that I was like, fuck, these guys are so fun and so fantastic. And so one night I had actually voiced to you guys that I was like, yeah, I got lucky. And you were one of the people that said, no, there's a lot of different comics out there. And you said, there's a lot of different comics out there and there's a lot of different comedy. That's what makes comedy so awesome.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that helped me really make peace with it.
With what?
I was like, I'm getting to feature for Joey.
Uh-huh.
You should have had that spot. And that's what, in my head, though, that's what I was thinking, was I was like, I don't see why.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's not true. Because of, we all hate ourselves. That's part of the deal. I don't know any good comedian that thinks they're hilarious, right? There's a couple, I'm sure, but I don't know. Everyone I know and like thinks they're terrible. So it's always like easier to look on the outside. But that's also not how stand-up works. Like, it's not, it's relationships. And it's people liking who you are as a person and seeing, like, this guy's cool. And, like, what Joey said is a big part of it, too, is, like, we work well together. Like, the show being that. And him seeing you kill fucking numerous times at Fourth Wall. Joey Diaz is a headliner. He's probably selling out shows, I'm sure, now. Mm-hmm. Like, he's been doing it for a long time. He's not going to just pick somebody like, he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
And that's what you had said to me. And I'm telling you, dude, it calmed me down because anytime, like, I got a certain piece of success, I didn't think I was worth it.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? So I do. That's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, was because I've talked about it to numerous people, and I know it'll probably make you uncomfortable. Like whenever people would say shit to Letterman, and he was just like, yeah, okay, what did you drive to get here? You know, I got this new thing that and then he was just totally dissuaded. But I'm
working on my
feel like
intimacy,
it.
so
Good.
I thank you, and I take the compliment for real. That means a lot to hear, and it's true too. Like I don't know. There's a lack of genuineness and every. Yeah, I think that's part of the problem for me. Is I don't think that. I think there's a certain amount of delusion that needs to be in you to really make it in comedy. Like this is all that matters. Like I feel this way, but also I know like I can be happy without stand up. So if somebody else is good, I don't have a problem with being like, yeah, man, you're good. Like,
Yeah.
And a lot of people I know live in competition in their head all the time, where they have to be the best, no matter what. Like in their head, that's just how they operate. Like I gotta think I'm the best, and if I'm not, like I gotta figure out a way to rationalize to myself how I am, just to stay good on stage. Like that's the way some people are. But that's too much effort.
It's fun though now because, as I said, like I'll look at those lineups because me and Robert Vertrees were talking about it one time.
He's funny. I like him.
And I said, every once in a while you'll look at that slotted, and you'll just be like, holy fuck, like.
The more good people on the show, the less fun it's going to be.
Yeah, I've learned that.
Sometimes. If it's a bunch of funny comedians, you're like, all right, cool, none of us are going to laugh.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's great. If it's the 10 o'clock show or whatever, which I'm going to try and do. I like how I'm calling it a show.
It seems pathetic, but yeah, I will look at those lineups, and I'll be honest, I'll let my fucking imagination run sometimes, and I'm like, oh fuck. Could you imagine sometime if Rob Pugliese and I get passed at the Comedy Cellar, and how much fun it would be to just hang out?
Man, that's why I'm still doing this. Like,
with you. Like,
a lot of this shit, I'm fucking, last year for me was not great. It was a hard year. Unrelated to comedy. I mean, comedy's been hard the whole time. But those hangs when you're like, it's your buddies and you all do a show, and everybody does good, and then afterwards you're just fucking dicking around is like what I love more than anything in the world, you know?
It's funny.
I don't even like stand up. Like sometimes it's not even being on stage. Sometimes that's the least fun part for me. And then afterwards it's just hanging out. Yeah, sometimes. Not always. Sometimes I look forward to it, but like it depends how much material I've been writing. If I'm just doing the same 5 fucking jokes I'm tired of doing, I'm like, whatever. Let's do this part of it.
One of my favorite things is seeing that, because you are impossible to not have a fun time on stage. I've seen you legitimately go, okay, I don't want to do that one. And it's funny, it's like you're talking to yourself up there, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And like you'll have like, yeah, I don't want to do any of this, so let's just talk.
Yeah.
And that's in my head. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. We're off the rails now. Let's do this.
Yeah, I have it's tough because you do like you get comfortable at those places, but then I don't know if this is the same for you, but like if I have to do an audition mic, like at the Improv or the fucking store, I hate it because I'm not training that muscle enough, and like unfortunately that is part of this, is being, you got to perform for these people that make decisions, and it's I don't crumble. Like I've had okay things, but it's definitely not the same, you know.
Yeah.
I would love to just be able to go up there and be like, I don't fucking care about this, and like, but I can't. You know, I definitely feel the pressure, and for sure have bombed multiple times when it's like something important.
Yeah, when it's on the line.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the other scary things about Fourth Wall, is you can get too comfortable there.
Yeah, that's why I've stopped going so much. Although I am going to try and go tonight. But I've started going to the other places where I know they don't like me as much. Like, just to try to fucking, be uncomfortable. But it sucks.
No, you're exactly right.
It sucks because some of it is just the people there don't like you. You know, and it's like they're not going to like me. And it's the same as like there's certain crowds that won't like you. So I question, like, is there a point to this? You know what I mean? Especially if you have like a particular style and you have made choices to be this person, you're gonna alienate people. That's part of like becoming a character or whatever to an extent.
Yeah.
And I think the better you are, the more you alienate people sometimes. And it feels like that crowd is everyone in LA. So maybe I just suck. That's also a possibility.
That's not it. Do you remember the episode of Letterman where Louie was on and he was talking to me? He's like, wow, you sold out like 3 nights at Madison Square Garden. And he goes, you realize that's just more people that potentially hate you.
Letterman said that?
No, Louie did. He goes, yeah, well, I mean, what's it hold? Like multiple thousands of people. That means that hundreds of people are just disappointed.
Yeah, that's true. As that Patrice saying, he's like, comedy should be 60% of the crowd likes you and 40% hates you and is horrified. He's like, that's what good comedy is. And I agree with that, and that is not how anyone else feels currently in stand-up.
Do you really, though? Because here's the thing.
Yeah, man.
I've listened to you on other podcasts, and I don't believe that's Rob Pugliese.
What do you mean?
Like, the Rob Pugliese that I know, and maybe this is just because I feel like we connect a little more, you are much happier in real life than when I've met you and when we've hung out.
Sometimes.
Than when I've heard you.
What do you mean? Versus stage persona versus who I am, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but stage persona is me not hiding that shit that's always there under the surface. But it's just been the past year and a half has been hard. You know, getting older and you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm still not making a living here, and being an electrician seems like a good idea. I don't want a fucking roommate, and I want to have nice things.
Well, yeah, so what would you be doing if you didn't do comedy?
I have no idea. Yeah, I can't. Every time I like try to think about that, it sends me into an immediate panic attack.
Really?
Because there's never been anything that I fucking have an interest in outside of that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe helping at-risk youths. I don't know.
No,
Teenage boys that are like miserable are people that I like to I would like to talk to more. Even if it's not a work thing, I get a lot out of that because dude, being a teenager for me was it was awful. Like it was bad. Being an adult's pretty bad, but it was real bad then. And I just all I needed was somebody to sit down and be like, everything you're experiencing is perfectly normal. You're going to be fine. And like somebody that I believed and looked up to. That's all I needed was somebody to be like, it'll be okay. Like, it'll be all right. Yeah, dude. I was just like.
What age? From
like 14 to, 20 probably.
Was it a problem to where you were by region, or was it just a typical young kid problem?
What do you mean? Like where I was make it worse?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely made it worse. I think that was part of it. And I think it's just part of who I am also. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like I'm usually not able to be close friends with somebody who hasn't at one point seriously contemplated suicide. You know what I mean? Like that's just who I relate to, is people who, when they're in life at some point being like, what the fuck is this? This sucks. Why are we doing this? This is awful. How do I get out of this? What is the answer? Why is there suffering? Like all those big dumb questions that you never get an answer for. There's never any answers. You just eventually go like, all right, well, this is the way it's going to stay. So I better learn how to deal with
answers,
it.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, I mean, I don't know though, because I've seen you. I don't know. It's a complex thing, man, because I don't always believe that all artists are broken toys.
No, I don't think that's true.
But one thing, like
Kevin Hart seems pretty good.
Yeah, but again, obviously we don't know his story, but like one thing with you is you joke about different things. You know where I remember seeing you really crush, and it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. It was when we did that detox center.
I did not crush.
You did.
I don't recall that happening.
No. You, and this is what I mean by crushing, is after you had gone, nobody could follow you. And I remember it was because you sat down. I think you might have sat down.
I don't know.
Because I just remember when you talked to them, you weren't, like, you talk about being at ease. You were talking to people and they were really listening to you. You were the only one that they really listened to that night.
Well, those are my people. That's who
that's
I grew
exactly
up with.
What I mean.
That's who I am. Like, I'm fucking 8 years sober. Like, I remember, I never went to rehab, but I know exactly where each of them are. Like, I know where you're, like, you don't want to fucking be here. This sucks. I don't know if I want to be alive, but I gotta fucking stop doing these drugs also. So everything sucks. Yeah, people like that are who I relate to.
But that was the thing of it, though. And here's the
problem.
thing. You made those people fucking laugh. And I remember walking away from there and I was like, fuck, this is where they really needed comedy tonight.
Thanks, man. I'm glad. Yeah, I remember walking away and being like, I suck, but
no,
I'm glad somebody else.
No, and I remember watching it though. It was one of the most complex things I've ever fucking seen, dude. Like, I didn't have warm and fuzzies. I don't think you ever do leaving a detox show. But I remember walking away from there thinking like, oh, okay, there's still fucking hope.
Yeah.
There's a reason to fucking hope. And I know that, like, under any circumstance, those are very tacky and very corny things to say. But when you're leaving a detox center, that's what you cling to, is you're like, fuck, I hope I don't see these people again.
Yeah.
There.
I've been in that position many times where they're at. So it's, that's a much easier group of people to talk to for me than, like, mid-20s female progressives, or like, late 40s conservative people. Like, I don't relate to that. Yeah. Fuck are any of you talking about? None of this matters. We're gonna die soon, and it'll probably be because we have drug problems. That makes sense to me.
How do you stay sober?
Oh, God fucking knows anymore. Sheer stubborn anger.
Really?
No, I got sober in a 12-step program. It saved my life. For real, 100%. Yeah, I was like, just where I grew up, we were all very unhappy. But I'm not painting this picture like I grew up in a fucking Charles Dickens story or something.
I was going to say, you're not Oliver. I don't believe that, but...
Well, we were all very misanthropic and angsty and, like, douchey little teenage douches. But right on top of that, that was like the right below the surface. But on the surface was like, everybody was so fucking funny. All of my friends growing up and everyone I knew, it's just so fucking funny. I remember being like a teenager and being afraid to hang out with my friends because they were so goddamn funny. And I was like, what if I'm not funny? Like, literally, I would, like, fucking think of jokes. They were just much better than me. Yeah, so that was, what the fuck were we talking about? Yeah, sobriety. So that was always kind of like the current thing. And then, yeah, the 12 steps saved my life. And I, still do some of that stuff. But when you're sober for a while, you find new problems in life that can cripple and ruin it. So I've been doing some research on that, and fun. It's a new thing. It's tough.
Did your friends, like I said, we talked about it being regional, like you being in a bad place didn't make it any better. Did your friends have the same issue?
Yeah, that's why we all hated it. Here's the real problem, though. When you leave that region and you're still to a cool place and you're still unhappy and miserable, because then you got to be like, fuck, it's me.
Yeah.
That's the real problem. It's really easy when you're in your hometown to be like, oh, this place sucks and I'm too good for it. But then when you leave and you're still, like, struggling to find happiness, that's the real kick in the dick. You're like, maybe it might be me. Maybe part of this might be something I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. But they were all, everybody's good now. Most of them.
Mine was Coke.
Yeah.
I remember enough Coke in one nostril, and then it bled.
Yeah.
And then, you would do that old Carmex trick where you just put a little bit on the dab of your pinky.
That's smart.
Put it right up there, and then you just go to your other nostril for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let that heal up, and then once that one started bleeding, you'd go to the other nostril. I mean, just fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, fuck it. I remember, too, it was just so easy, and it was so normal that I remember I was like, fuck, both of my nostrils are plugged up. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And, okay, I'm gay. This is nothing new to me. And
I've
I was
been
like,
here before.
Bam. Yeah, exactly.
Does that actually work?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it numb your asshole?
It did.
Really? That'd be funny if that's how cops and like detective shows started testing it. Let's see if this is the real stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa, Jimmy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Drop trowel.
Well, you've never done this before? It was pretty common. And then he just spends the rest of the time trying to convince the guys it's not a big deal. Huh? What are you Everybody does this. Jimmy, I don't think they do. No, this is all the kids are doing it. I'm not sure
Officer
about
Murphy doing? Oh, he's checking to see if that's cocaine.
he's checking for cocaine. That's the detective. He checks everything with his asshole. That's how he solves all of his crimes. I got a hunch.
He just wears sweatpants to the crime scenes.
Yeah, just those old pajama bottoms that you can unbutton. God damn it, his methods are crazy, but he's the best damn detective we've got. Solves every case with his asshole.
Yeah, he fucking slams his badge down once a week.
Yeah.
I'm not a cop right now, god damn it.
Turn over your badge and your gun. You're off the case.
You're out of control, McMurphy.
Okay. I'm off the case. And he gets up and leaves the chair, and it's got blood all over it.
Exactly.
This is what I'm talking about, Murphy.
That's my third chair this month.
You keep your asshole out of my crime scenes.
And then as he walks away, that's the best goddamn cop I've ever seen.
What are we going to do without him, Chief? We'll figure it out. And then in the end, they got to go back to him, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's reticent to return because he's got in too deep. He lost a wife over it. But he does it because there's a little girl on the line, much like his young daughter that he lost.
He has on the fridge.
Yeah.
He cries every night.
Have you watched Lethal Weapon, the original one, recently, or seen it recently, like within the past 5 years? Or however, just before.
Oh yeah, dude. I know. I'm a big Lethal Weapon fan.
It's so cliche and hacky if you watch it now.
Yeah,
it's
now.
So hacky.
What, at the time though, was it?
I don't know. I was
It's
thinking
hard to
that because I was
tell.
like, is this the movie that they make fun of, like with all cop movies? It must be, right?
You know what though? I
The
think,
rogue detective guy,
I think it was the first of its kind.
It might have been up there.
Because when he's doing that very beginning scene, it really is fucking solid acting. When he's got that
He's
gun,
got the gun, yeah, and it clicks his finger or whatever.
That's fucking intense.
Yeah, dude.
It's just like, holy shit.
I know. And then the fourth one, you have Joe Pesci making fucking dumb jokes that really went off the rails. Chris Tucker's in one of them. Or no, Chris Rock.
It was Chris Rock, yeah. But yeah, that first one too, like that cops are going to let these two detectives fight it out on their lawn.
Right. Yeah.
I'm in charge of this operation. I'm in charge. And he's like, go ahead, Riggs.
Go ahead, Riggs.
Riggs. And remember he throws him his fucking nightstick?
Yeah.
Because Gary Busey's coming at him with a pipe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He's got a mullet. He's like just a wild card, lives in a fucking trailer. Just if you watch it now with knowing like all of like the cop cliches, it's
and then you hear that saxophone come in
So
when
good.
something's really bad gonna happen. Like,
so good.
Jesus. So close to retirement.
It's
You know what I
always,
mean? Yeah,
they're so
I'm
close to retirement.
Too old for
These
this
cops.
shit.
These cops love retiring.
The
Cops
shit-
are all about retiring.
Yeah, you join the police force because you want some action,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't really spark up until you're almost
Right.
retired.
You spend 20 years doing tickets, and then 3 years before you get involved in a deadly game of cat and mouse
Fucking
with some Russian
yeah,
terrorists.
then you meet a mercenary gone rogue. Like,
He's got your number for some reason. You put away his brother 10 years ago. He died in jail. My whole life has been training to meet you. I'm 3 years away from retirement.
I'm too old for this shit.
Fuck.
You just make jokes about your wife's cooking.
Yeah.
all the time. But I like part 2.
I love all of them.
Yeah.
I even liked the Lethal Weapon 4. I mean, I was 14 when it came out, but I
Do you
remember
remember
liking
seeing
it.
him fight fucking Jet Li?
Jet Li. That was like the first time Jet Li was in a movie in America or a major movie. And
He was good in it.
So gangster. Yeah, dude. He
Just
was
the
crazy.
treachery.
He was terrifying, and he was like the new Bruce Lee. He was fucking cool.
Do you remember when he's leg kicking fucking Danny Glover? When they're fighting on that dock,
Yeah.
and they're both laying down, and each time Danny Glover keeps trying to sit up, Jet Li
that's
kicks,
right.
like
Yeah.
he's got a kick that can go to his shoulder, and he's
Yeah.
just like, "Huh, boo, huh, boo.
Or he's
huh,
got the fucking Mel Gibson's got the stake through his body.
and he's
And he's still
fighting.
Yeah, he's still fucking him up.
Damn it, what a badass. I like how this turned into like a tribute to the Lethal Weapon
Yeah, dude.
series. How about fucking
Cobra?
48 Hours?
Oh, 48 Hours is... wait, that's Mel Gibson, right?
No, that's Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm thinking Beverly Hills Cop. That's what I was thinking of.
that was a good one too.
I don't know that I've ever seen 48 Hours.
Really with
Yeah.
Nick Nolte drops the N-word like to
Yeah, he
Eddie
could
Murphy.
do that back then.
Yeah, and he's just like Eddie Murphy's like, you released me, man. I'm hungry. You told me you were gonna take me out to dinner, and he's like, I did say that, didn't I? And then he like goes to a vending machine and gets him some hot tamales,
Really?
and he's like, here you go, convict.
They do love those.
He says all of these really racist things.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It is absolutely hilarious.
I don't know who decided racism isn't funny, but I strongly disagree. I've been trying to do a joke where I'm defending racist jokes, and nobody likes it. And I've given up on it.
Same thing. Same thing here. Like, race is the only thing that I have to sit down and really be like, okay, how the fuck am I going to get here? How am I going to get to point A to point B?
Yeah.
It's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it just seems like the current trend is it's either goofy silly, which is great, and I wish I could do that better because I really like guys who are good at that, but I'm not great. And then it's that, or it's self referential, like here's why I'm a piece of shit loser. Not even that, but like my mom's blah blah blah, and my dad's different, so here's how we're fucking. Nobody's looking outward. It doesn't feel like nobody's like, hey, that guy's weird. If it just at least not here, you're not allowed to be like. I remember people got mad at me because I was like making fun of a homeless guy. It's like you can't make fun of the homeless. I'm like, why?
God.
They're homeless. That's funny. Like since when did being a comedian mean you have to be like a good person?
Yeah, it seems
What
like
the fuck is
a
that?
lot of people are trying to make comics into philosophers.
Yeah, or politicians, or some type of like fucking flag parade people, like that we're all this cheer squad for whatever specific organization is important. It's like I don't give it. I just fucking want to tell jokes and be a garbage person.
I'll tell you this, which I know in my heart I would do terrible in a West Hollywood show.
That's
the
not true, though.
The ones where they book, I know, because I remember I was on one and I was making fun of drag. Because I just said, I don't really understand drag.
Yeah.
I was making jokes about it, and I mean, it was dead silent except for the one straight person in there that fucking loved it.
Did you tell them you were gay before, or did you
No,
just go
and
into it?
I think I might have fucked them up.
Yeah, see, you can get away with all of it. You just have to be like, so I'm gay. Anyway, here's what I hate. But yeah, because you don't
Why
come
don't
off.
you say that then?
Yeah, I'm gay anyway. You goddamn Jews. These goddamn Jews. Yeah, no, it's hard being a white man. And I'm going to run a presidential election about it. I'm going to run for president.
Can I tell you that I think it is harder for white comics.
For white guy comics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is. You don't. Yeah, everybody wants to, like, your idols are like Bill Burr and Louie, and it's like, try to do those jokes at an open mic that they do.
Exactly.
Like, not going to work.
The comics that inspired me, I look now and I'm like, oh, fuck. A lot of them were white. I look at Louis C.K. I look at, one thing that we, if I may be so bold, fell in love and made love about one night was our love for Dave Attell.
Yeah, he's the best ever.
One of those things is true. I remember that was where I really connected. I was like, oh, fuck me. Like, this guy gets it.
Yeah, my buddy, Justin Foster's a good buddy of mine. And the first time we met, I told him I was a comic. And he was bartending at Flappers. So he met comics all the time. And he was like, yeah, okay, dude. And he was like, kind of like whatever. Because he'd been doing comedy. He's been doing it for a long time. So he was like a headliner at that point. And he was like, who's your favorite comic? And I was like, probably Attell. And he was like, oh, okay. And then we were really... And he was like, oh, all right.
Like he was vetting you.
Yeah. Because if you're like, I don't know, fucking whoever.
He's a comic, because we talked about this one time. I got to be careful how much I listen to him, because I can't listen to him consistently.
Yeah.
Not anymore, because it's like...
Also, he doesn't put out enough new material to fucking... I've heard all of his old shit so much I can't really do it anymore.
Well, what's odd about it, too, is I remember in New York, you could see him all the time.
Yeah.
You could see him all the time, and he always had new shit.
Right.
And it was just like, because it was a new... or I should say, he always had new tags.
Yeah, he doesn't put out new specials, I guess, very often.
And it was just infuriating, though, because it was like... I remember sitting with you, because we went to see him. Yeah. And as much as I had loved Jeff Ross, and I think he's terrific, they were like, oh, you guys are in luck. Jeff Ross is in the audience, and I bet you they're going to do bumping mics. And I remember in my head, I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to see
Yeah,
those
we were
two
talking
do
about that. I was like, I hope
Yeah.
they don't just do that. I want to see Attell do a fucking hour.
Exactly.
Do you remember how the guy told us that worked at the club?
Yeah.
It was such a weird, uncomfortable, nerdy. You could just tell by that one interaction he was a giant nerd. Because he was like, hey, guys. He was like walking up and down the line. And he was like, hey, guys. Just got news. It's a little special tonight. Here, does this mean anything to you guys? And then he bumped his fists together. And we were all like, what? He's like, does that mean anything? Because big guest star tonight. Like,
I forgot about
right,
this. I remember the guy being a fucking
yeah.
nerd.
It's like, okay. Yeah, it's Jeff Ross. I got it. Like, just say that. Who cares?
See, I would have thought that was definitely hilarious, just because seeing anybody try to cheer you up would fucking crack me the fuck. Like, that's not what Rob's into.
Well, it was just such a weird way to go about it. Anybody know what this means? And he just bumps his fist together while we're all silent in a line, not a group of people that like each other.
Oh,
dude,
shit.
what? Yeah, say Jeff Ross is here too.
Exactly. Cool. That's it. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to be like, well, hey, kids, the weatherman said he spotted Santa's sleigh about 8 miles from here. Like,
does this mean anything to you guys? He jingles some bells.
Up.
Yeah, it's like the guys before the ArcLight movie that do the announcement. That's also uncomfortable usually.
Yeah.
I forgot who I think it was Brendan Cooney. He took a video of it and just wrote bombing on Instagram. It was one of the guys doing the announcement before the movie. This guy's bombing.
When he was on here, he would not answer. I was like, so there's kind of this mystery as to whether or not you love or you hate Nanette.
Yeah, he's a very mysterious man. That's why I like him. I can't tell whose side he's on. Pick a side.
And he tells me, he's like, oh, yeah, nobody knows. And I was like...
Moving on. Anyway.
Yeah, and I was quiet, and I tried to, like, draw it out because... And no one will ever know.
He's so funny.
We went to Amoeba. He took me to Veggie Grill, and he was like, yeah, dude, you got to try this lemonade. It's amazing. And he was like really excited about it. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like let's do lemonade." So we went to a movie, and then we went for the lemonade. And I was drinking. I was like, "Yeah, this is really good. Like I really like this. This is really good." He stopped and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember which lemonade it was." And he goes, "I'm glad you really liked it, but you don't have to sell it to me because I'm not sure if that's the same one I liked."
Such an unnecessarily honest, weird moment. He could have just been like, "Yeah, it's good, right?"
Yeah, exactly. And we both looked at each other, and I told him, I go, "So I've been drinking a lie." And we both just started laughing. Like,
that's a comedian thing, though. Is like this need to be honest about everything. No matter how inconsequential it is.
Yeah, and like then we really connect. Like whenever I see it, we hang out, we'll laugh. We went to Amoeba, and there was a photo booth, and I go, oh, let's get in that photo booth, and he goes, yeah, that's good. He goes, hang on, let me grab something. And so first picture, I'm angry, he's smiling. Second picture, he's whatever. And then the very last picture, he had Nanette's Netflix album, and he just held it in front of the camera. So you see me and Brendan Cooney, Nanette.
Why don't you gotta post that on Instagram? It's so funny.
He did
he?
post it, yeah.
Yeah, fun. Yeah,
And again, people were like, do you like her?
make a decision.
Or not? And he's like, well, I think we all know how I feel.
He's so great.
Just ever so cryptic.
Yeah.
But how do you write a joke? Like,
I listen to a really good comic, and then I do what they're doing. This is when I just tell you that I've been stealing jokes.
and then I just, yeah. Do you, I mean, what's your process? And I hate saying that, but I'll just be honest with you. I'm very curious to know. Do you sit down and make time to write, or do you write on stage? What do you do?
How do I do it? I have no idea, man. I wish I had a consistent way to do it. I should sit down. I don't do that. I did for a little bit, but I should do that. I don't really.
What joke of yours was the favorite to write? And you don't have to give away the joke, but in terms of how you did it.
What do you mean favorite to write?
Like if there's a joke that you like performing particularly well, how did you get to that joke?
I used to do this super racist joke about how I was dating an Asian girl, and I don't do it anymore. But I did like the joke, and the joke was I just was dating an Asian girl, and the crowd would be like, "Yeah," and I'd be like, "Oh," or no, I said I was dating an Asian lady. What the fuck? Now I'm fucking up my own goddamn material. Oh yeah, I was like I was dating an Asian girl. She wasn't Asian like hot Asian. She was Asian like ooh Chinese. And that went one way or the other. And then I would do a stereotypical Chinese accent. And I know that sounds terrible. It works in the bit sometimes. But I remember being in the shower just doing the voice and making myself laugh. And I was like, I can't do this on stage, but it's so funny. And I was like, I'm going to fucking do it on stage. And yeah, it's making yourself, I guess, laugh. The one I just wrote is about my breakup from last year. It's about dating a crazy person is like buying a haunted mansion and then like making parallels, and writing that was fun because it was hard.
Did you like sit down and write that, or did you write on stage?
I thought of a couple of things obviously before I went up, and then they didn't work, and then I just kept doing it on stage until it worked. Pretty much. Yeah, I mean a lot of it's like that is, I guess it's a combination of both things.
Are you ever in your car just talking a bit out?
Yeah, sometimes. I do it more when I'm walking. If I'm walking, I'll be thinking about it. Like moving helps. But I don't do it nearly enough. For me to like write takes in a lot of effort, and I'm very lazy. And it's I like more thinking about myself and being self-obsessed than having to actually be productive. So, but yeah, sitting down and writing is really useful, and if you can just make yourself do even if it's an hour a week, like it'll change everything. But I haven't been doing it for a couple months.
It's not rocket science, but it is hard to fucking sit down.
Because when you sit down, you're not writing comedy, you're facing your entire failure of a life.
No, you're exactly right.
That's what it is for me.
Anymore, what I've started doing is I will write down a joke that I fucking love. Like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be mine. It can be, it mostly isn't mine. Like, I remember I wrote down one of Carlin's bits. It was, what is all this shit about angels? And then, underlining, what about zombies? Where the fuck are all the zombies? And then just underlining, where the fuck are all the zombies? That's the problem with zombies. They're unreliable.
That's funny.
And then just starting off from that point and then being like, okay, it gets me in a sillier mood.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, what's annoying me today?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a fun thing, or I'll write down something in my day
Yeah, I do it. I do write all like in my phone. I have probably 10,000 notes of like just stupid ideas and whatever. And I don't. And every time I write it, like I'll write this later, then I never fucking do. Sometimes I'll do it on stage, but
it is. It's fucking hard.
Yeah, man. It's sitting down is difficult because it is like you're facing the real fucking craft of it, and for a comedian who's not made it and is still working difficult to get fucking booked on shows. If you have a set or even a writing session that like nothing comes to you, you walk. At least I do. I walk away like I shouldn't do this. This shit's in for me.
I heard Ari Shaffir say something interesting though. He said that nobody writes more than an open micer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he said because every week, you're gonna see the same fucking people.
That's true. Sure.
And he said so. There's something that goes in. The real testament I've heard other comics say is to try the shit that you've done over and over and over again, but to try it and dissect it different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1,000 different methods and 1,000 different ways, and you would think that, at least for me, I'd be able to fucking sit down, pick one, and just fucking do it. But it's such a lonely fucking process. Too.
Lonely. It's kind of gross. Like something about it is just like disgusting to me. Like fucking smelling your own farts.
It is. That's a very articulate way to fucking put
Super.
it, but it absolutely
erudite.
is that.
Yeah, it's all that stuff, and that's I don't know. That's something I should probably get over, is because if you're gonna be good at it, you gotta like just like this is narcissistic and just like learn how to. Yeah. Okay.
But I think yes, it is narcissistic, but I think in the same breath too. It's that honesty, because it is very honest with ourselves. I can tell you this. I came from acting and I went to stand-up, and I can't stand actors now.
I can't imagine you being an actor.
And it's to a point where I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
I hate acting.
I'll just memorize the lines and then see acting. And I fell in love. I still love it.
Yeah.
I love it to this day because essentially the same principle is incorporated, and that is a playwright sat in a room all by himself and he fucking wrote down an idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
That in and of itself is where the joy of acting comes from, when you have a good piece or a good company.
But you don't get to decide what you say. That's the part I don't like.
Well, and that's kind of the nice thing, though. And I know that sounds very strange, but there's kind of a curiosity that takes over. Like, for instance, if somebody were playing, I think of this in There Will Be Blood. Mm-hmm. Daniel playing. Have you seen?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of it?
It's great.
So one of the crazy things that I love about that particular show is you kind of got to figure out who the fuck would say those lines. And that to me is where acting was the best. Is you were like, okay, what kind of a man talks that way?
Yeah.
And what was so amazing about it was when they talk about the movie, they go, we actually wanted to call this movie, you can take the man out of the mines, but you can't take the mine out of the man.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get to see what somebody that should not be around people.
Yeah.
And he has to deal with people. That's the beautiful thing about, if I say that I'm an oil man, I think you'll agree. And it's because he's mimicking what he thinks human behavior is.
That's good.
And he's so fucking far off from it.
Yeah.
But I
like the art of acting and watching actors.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I love good actors, I just hate it personally, doing it myself. Even when we have to do sketches, I'm like, ugh.
Really?
Fucking, even ones that I wrote. Stupid. So as soon as they're like action, I'm like, yeah, this isn't real, so why are we doing this?
So pretend's not big on your...
No, but it's all just based in fear, really.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Fear of, like, being judged or whatever. And some of it's just I'm get bored. Like, setting up the shot takes 48 hours and fucking lighting and all that.
Oh, yeah. That's why I loved the stage more than the fucking...
It's instant.
Yeah. In New York, that was the big evil, was coming to L.A. and doing film.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it was like, oh, okay. Like, as odd as it is, film was more artificial, but it always seemed more real. Just in the sense of just I was watching Raging Bull, and it's a scene where he's on the ropes, and then they use that film that like can capture more images, and you just see that smoke coming up from behind him, and then it's just he's breathing heavy, and he just looks out, and he sees that fucking fist, and it's coming towards him, and the camera just zooms in on him, and it's so like, oh fuck,
yeah.
That eerie silence where you know a barrage of pain is just fucking coming. But yeah, it's either way, writing is a very lonely fucking process.
Yeah, it is. And but that's why stand-up's great, because even like writing sketches, you don't get to do it right away. Like you can write a joke right now and go do it, and I think it's very much just for the undisciplined person, and that's why the writing is bad. Why most comedians are bad writers and bad at like doing it regularly. That's why Seinfeld's successful. Really, I mean, that's not the only reason. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but if you read it, like he writes like a fucking author his jokes, and nobody does that. That's so rare. But it makes a difference, dude. If you're coming up, imagine if you came up with a new decent joke every week. Like that'd be insane. I come up with a new decent joke maybe once a month, maybe. And
really?
Yeah, like one that I will stand behind and is going to for sure go in like an audition act or something. At least in my dumbass opinion. But yeah, I mean, if you were putting more, you'd get more out of it. I guess that's how that works.
So, what brings you joy?
Joy is a rare one, like actual internal joy.
And this is the only thing I love about being gay in conversations like this is I feel like I have this pass to ask my heterosexual friends the gayest questions that no other guy
I don't think it's a gay
ask.
question at all. I think you think too much. Can I say something?
No, absolutely not. Wait till you get a
This
Zoom
isn't your podcast.
H6.
I paid $160. Okay?
No, go ahead, buddy.
I think you think too much about that, because as me and my straight friends, who most of them are sober, we have the gayest conversation. That's all it is. I'm so tired of it. Yeah. All I do is talk to my buddies about how I'm feeling and what's not right and my emotional fucking that's all we talk about. It's so annoying. Seriously. I have those are all of my conversations. Be like, man, here's what's going on. I just feel like he's not hearing me. I swear to God. That's all. It's fucking terrible. So you don't got to worry about that. But what brings me joy, I don't know lately. Like I said, it's been bad. Last year was bad. Joy.
Yes.
Joy is like a deep one. What brings me true joy is seeing other people happy that I care about, if we're really going to be metaphysical about it, or being able to truly help someone brings me joy. But the contrast of that is I'm very lazy and self-centered, so I don't experience a lot of joy.
I feel like you kick the shit out of yourself way too much.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of dumb fucking things, so it's merited.
That you and
not dumb
everybody-
things,
I was
but
gonna say though,
yeah, I'm pretty hard on myself.
you are like even talking to you, it's like this. You're like, because I'm retarded, and then you'll tell me what you're going to tell me, and I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
okay. It's
You know
like,
what's strange is my therapist said the same thing. She was like,
you
"Why do
serious?
you qualify everything?"
yeah, but
I don't know.
It's funny because you have to discredit your opinion before you give your opinion. It's like
Because
scraping
there's so
crumbs
many-
off butter. And then you're like, let me get you some fresh butter.
Because
here.
there's so many fucking opinions in the world, and everybody has their take on shit.
Do you
and
realize
I
though,
hate it.
that people ask you for yours?
Yeah, but they don't know what the fuck they want.
Of course, that's why we're asking you.
They don't know what to really ask. Yeah, I know. I can't. I just like it's so much. It's the fucking internet age of everybody having like this point of view, and I'm just like, to care. You really want to know mine? Here's mine. It's dumb, but here's mine. That's how I feel about it. Too many people have too much pride in what they think about things nowadays. I just accidentally stumbled across a Jezebel article this afternoon, and I nearly slit my wrists. I don't remember what it was about. Just a fucking hot take.
You just remember that feeling of, ugh.
No, I remember what it was. It was a white guy complaining about Chappelle's special, and I wanted to strangle him through the internet.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to beat his face in with
I bet
my
I saw
dick.
that same fucking...
Uh,
I even have to say this, too. It was you, me, and the Versus. I think we were at Mel's Diner, and you were talking about something, and the crux of the story you were getting to, but you were like, yeah, and I was, she hit this because I have kind of a big dick.
yeah, I thought that was funny.
And I just remember you just you rode right past that one.
No, I brought it up again.
All of us were like, we were laughing because it was like.
That's the funny part, because I got into a fight with a girl at Mel's, and she tried to kick me in the balls, but I have kind of a big dick, so it kicked my dick instead, which protected my balls. And why I was saying that is because if I got arrested and went to court, I was, as a joke for myself, going to continually bring up that point, just at different points, until the judge was like clearly upset about it. Like, just keep referencing it. Like, Your Honor, if you remember, like I mentioned earlier, I have sort of a big dick, so my balls didn't get hurt, which is why I was able to. And just keep going back to it. Okay, so Your Honor, I thank you for hearing me out today, and I'm glad I got to speak my piece of it. And luckily, again, I wasn't injured because of my larger than average penis, which protected my testicles.
I just imagine that pastel guy that does the sketches of like whoever's on trial. Yeah. He's just drawing your dick.
He's just peeking, trying to get a look at it the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. He's drawing your wad that he can see while you're sitting on the stand.
He's just peeking over the bench. That's funny.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
You know what the funniest thing ever in any movie is? You've seen it in The Big Lebowski, right?
Oh, of course.
Remember when he's at the porn star's house and he's all fucked up and the porn star guy gets on the phone? He's like, oh, what? Really? And then he takes down some notes and then he leaves the room. And Jeff goes up and he scratches his thing and it's just a guy with a boner. It's the funniest thing. Because the look on his face, he's just like, what? It's so good.
Yeah, it's only there long enough for him to register that. What the fuck? Oh, and then he has to sit down.
It's right? Such a... Because you think like, oh, he's gonna get it. It's a great fucking scene.
It's a great detective skill to be like, yeah. Oh, like I remember watching it and thinking like, oh fuck yeah, that's brilliant. Now
right.
You'll get a lead to
yeah,
it, and then it's like, wait, what the fuck?
And it's just such a stupid and such an intelligent movie with such a great. It's such a stupid fucking joke. Just a guy with a boner. When they throw him in the limo is great too because they're kidnapping him, and he's like, "Hey, man, beverage here, beverage." Here.
But yeah, so much of what he says,
That's
like when he makes a point, is he's quoting somebody else.
When the three of them are talking too in the bowling scene, they're all three having separate conversations.
Oh yeah.
Also, Walter's on his thing. Donnie's asking about his thing. It's just so good.
Donnie's really the only one that intersects into Walter's world where.
What do you say, Walter?
And he throws him right out.
Yeah. We'll go to fucking In-N-Out, Donnie. God damn it, we'll get some burgers.
So, I guess really the last thing I wanted to ask you about, man, what do you want the end game to be for you?
Death by cop. I think is probably what I want for if I had to choose it. Cop suicide, but like in a spectacle. Like I want a spectacle. I want media there. Probably like a kidnapping. I don't know, something like that. And a prominent figure like Obama's daughter. I don't know. She's in town. Not particularly her, just whoever I can. That kind of thing. And then at the end, here's what'll happen: is I'll pretend to go for a gun. They'll kill me. I won't have a gun, and what it'll turn out to be is that I was secretly doing some good somehow. You know what I mean? Like my last moments will be like I had a virus in me that was planted by the Yakuza that was gonna like kill everybody, and instead I'm gonna die a martyr. Martyr death is what I say.
I was thinking you more of the fucking you get a flat top haircut and just go around vigilante justice Michael Douglas stuff.
Oh, is that what you say?
Just where you pull out a squirt gun and then Rob Pugliese gets shot on Santa Monica Pier.
Oh yeah.
And then just as you fall over, you go, "Wait, I'm the bad guy." And then you fall over the fucking pier.
I can see that too.
Poetic.
Yeah.
It's not the spectacle, but
No, I like that. I'll take that. Yeah.
it's poetic.
But
and
death by cop, definitely.
that's the one inkling. Is your family funny?
I never, I didn't think so. But my buddy, who's very funny, always thought my dad was funny. He had like some Seinfeld isms that he would do that, like when you're his son, you're just like, you're a fucking nerd. But then he would, like my dad used to do this thing where he would back out, in a car. We lived in a small town, and if a car let you go, he'd be like, you got to do the obligatory wave. And like and my buddy was like, that's hilarious. And I was like, it is? And now that I think about it, like, it's pretty funny. Obligatory wave, people. But yeah, my brother's hilarious. His son is hilarious. My brother says shit that I'm like, God damn it, that's so fucking funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, your nephew is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's super cool and very funny and adorable. That brings me joy, those little bastards, seeing them.
Yeah, dude. I'll see posts on your Instagram,
Yeah.
and I could just I laugh because it's like that kid is so fucking happy.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
he is.
it's amazing.
I know. He was born that way. What about you? Are you from a funny lineage?
Yeah, I think my uncles were funny. Like they were the first ones to ever make a fat joke that I was like, but it made me laugh. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, guys.
I was like, all right, boy, these are really firing off tonight.
You guys are really killing, huh? All right. Well, I'm 7.
I'm gonna go inside.
Learn bulimia.
Exactly. I'm gonna cut your brake lines. Look up a video on how to do that because I know how to use the internet.
Yeah. You don't.
Fucks. You faggots.
You dumb faggots.
Yeah, they were funny, but
Mom and dad now?
Mom's funny because she's intense. Like she's not like I'm gonna try to be fun. She'll rattle off like a couple where I'm like Jesus fucking Christ. But who's the first stand up that you remember being like, oh fuck?
That I remember genuinely like being like, that wasn't the first comic that I didn't know already. Like, you saw some that you were famous.
Yeah.
Like I remember Jim Brewer had that premium blend joke about the bar in your stomach is the bouncer, which is a great joke. I remember that was one of them. But the first comic I ever saw, and I was like, I'm going to remember this guy because he's so funny, was Dane Cook.
Really?
Yeah. I was probably 16, and it was his premium, or Comedy Central's Presents. And it was the first time I ever saw a comic, and I was like, holy shit, that is so fucking insanely funny. And I will remember his name and tell people about him. That was the first time I ever did that.
Did you ever get to meet him?
No. Have I met him?
Like
no.
he's dead.
No, but I saw when we first came out here. I saw him at a show, and it was like a cool small improv. It was at the Improv, and Bill Burr was on it, and he was on it. And we were in the front row. But I never met him. But yeah, that was the first dude. And then after that, like the one that really was Bill Hicks, probably. That like I was like, oh, I see what comedy can be, which is crazy because if you start comedy with Bill Hicks being your idol, like it's not going to be fun for you.
No, it won't be
forever, probably, because it wasn't fun for him when he was doing it. And yeah, you got to kind of be funny. That's an important part of stand-up. But to me, he's like the penultimate thing, which is like it transcends. Like it's funny, but it's like there's more going on here than just that, and which is good. That's why Stanhope's the same dude. I remember we saw him at the store like 4 years ago, and it was sold out in the main room. And he was just like, afterwards, I was just like, dude, that's not like it's so far beyond what anybody else is doing. It's not even close.
Do you remember I was at that show? Do you remember seeing other comics in the room too, just to watch his set?
I was like 2 years in LA, so I didn't even know anybody, but I'm sure they were all there.
It was insane.
Yeah, he had this joke about, remember that? Well, you were there, but there was the congresswoman that got shot in the head by the crazy person, like in Arizona, probably 10 years ago. And he had a joke about how it was her fault that happened. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the joke, you're like 100% on his side. You're like, it was her fault. Fuck that lady. Which is just so amazing to be able to do that.
Was that the same one where he did the Jake LaMotta joke?
I don't know.
Jake LaMotta was on his... Jake LaMotta's wife had invited him and Bingo to one of their shows. Mm-hmm. And Stanhope was like, you mean to tell me that fucking cadaver on my couch is doing live theater?
It's doing live theater.
And he goes, normally you'd have to stun gun me and drag me to the theater.
I'll be there.
He goes, but I said I'll fucking be there with bells on.
That's so good. Afterwards, I was like, if that guy wasn't a comic, he could be a cult leader. Like,
you're right.
Same level of like, you leave and you're like, oh, I worship that guy.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe that's just a white guy thing.
You think? I don't know, because I would have been in that cult.
I forgot who it was, but I think it was Patrice. Yeah, I guess it's like that. Was that Patrice O'Neill on the radio show, whatever the fuck that show is called, and he's talks about how Fight Club is the ultimate white dude movie because it's just like some loser white guy who can't get laid, and then he like just is angry, blow shit up and stuff, and like he has a fucking breakdown. It's just some white dude shit. It's true. Like there's this romance for misery that I think the white man has that some other people don't. Like this, not all white people obviously, but like this angsty, like that it's beautiful in some dumb way. But when he said it, was just like, it seems so silly. Like, oh yeah, it's fucking retarded.
So, buddy, you got any shows coming up?
Yeah. When does this probably comes out?
This will be out Friday.
I got a show tomorrow.
Okay.
Thursday. So hurry up with the edit, please. That's the one on the books right now. I have a couple in November, but I cannot remember for the life of me any of them. But they'll all be on my Instagram if anybody wants to go. Right
on, buddy. And you can catch Rob. What's your social media?
Oh, yeah. Instagram is @RobPugs. And that's all I really use. I don't really use Twitter.
No Twitter?
Nah.
Well, dude, I want to have you back on because talking with you is very easy.
Yeah, I loved it. It was fucking fun, man.
You're a nice, cool drink of water.
Oh,
Rob,
thank you. Hot LA night. Let's just do like jazz, like Quiet Storm radio.
You describe what a nice night is, and I'll just scat in the back. Stupid bad.
And the rain hits down on the bricks. And the girl, she's on the corner smoking a long cigarette. Cab turns the corner and she knows it's for her. Gonna take her to where no man can. Freedom. That could be our new our side podcast.
Scatting with Rob and Eric. Alrighty, that was Rob Pugliese. Again, you can find him at Rob Pug Comic, ROBPUGCOMIC. Give him a follow on Instagram. He's awesome. And once more, I have a show coming up that is going to be at the Fourth Wall Comedy Cafe, 5250. What is it? No, I'm lying to you. It's 5220 Hollywood Boulevard. Go check it out. Again, you don't got to fucking Venmo anything to me. You're fine. Just go and be merry. It'll be fantastic. That said, thank you for listening. I love you guys. We'll catch you next week.
Fucking my, just have a good time. Baby,